Howdy folks, Scott Grove here from GroovyMusicLessons.com. Dr. Groovy here to show you another application for the 4-Force EM-1 amplifier. A few people have been writing to me acting like I own the company. No, I don't. I'm just in support of them. Okay? So you can always go to 4force.us and ask anybody questions. A lot of people are asking me, hey, how come when I turn my volume up and then I turn my gain up a little bit and I turn my gain up to 5, I don't have any volume? Well, there's a thing on the amp called a preamp. That's your bass, your mids, and your highs. That stuff has to be turned up before anything will work. I run the bass on 10, I run the mids on 10, and the highs on, about 7. So make sure all that stuff is turned up before you go griping that you can't get a tone out or can't get any sound out of it, because a preamp is just as important as the amp. So everything has to be up in order for the amp to work. Okay, now I'm going to actually just show you, and I know it has been shown a couple times in various very short films, and I don't do such things. I like using this thing for an amplifier too. The big rage back in the day, or still, are using the crappy old Shure green bullet microphones, to try to get that vintage sound, and everybody's buying an old vintage old Fender Champ amp, turning them on 10 and just hoping for the best. Fine, I've seen people play harmonicas through full Marshall 100-watt stacks and so forth. Fine, but what's it going to do? It's going to feed back like crazy. There's things for this, okay? It's called a gate. Okay, if you don't know what a gate is, I'll tell you quickly. It's just basically something that shuts off everything until you give it a signal, and then when that signal is gone, it shuts it back off. So it's like turning your guitar off between songs, basically. So it's just a rack mount unit, or you can get a floor pedal unit, but it just shuts things down so there's no noise. Okay, so with me running a microphone with distortion on it, or overdrive like I'm going to here in a second, yeah, it's going to feed back like crazy if you don't run a gate. Okay, so you have to have it set so that when you're playing, the amplifier works, but when you're not playing, it shuts the microphone off. You don't need an on and off switch to do this with. You'll notice most pro mics, I've got rubber band wrapped around this thing, but like my EVs here, there's no such thing as on and off switches on these things. So what I'm going to show you right now, okay, of course I've got the amp down here in my slew of stuff. It's a working room, so I'm always using this. I will put it back down there in a second. Okay, now let's just grab the harmonica. Okay, now if we were to play this through a clean microphone, check 2 1 2 through a normal PA system, okay, it's going to sound like a harmonica but louder. Okay, that's cool for a lot of things, but if you want that down home bluesy gritty John Popper, if you're familiar with Blues Traveler sound, then you want to go a different route, which is what I'll do next. So this is just a live microphone. This would be just like my vocal mic. And this is what I generally do on stage, but now I've got a little amp that will give me something else. So I have a choice. So I can go from one to the other, boom, like that, or I can put a AB box on it. If you're not familiar with what an AB box is, you just have source 1 and source 2, and you can pick microphone 1, microphone 2, or go directly into the PA, or turn that microphone off to the PA and run it directly into the amplifier, and then mic that amplifier just like you would a guitar, and just split your signals with an AB box. That's the best route to go, but of course I don't have it hooked up for this quick demo. Okay, so harmonica through a regular vocal mic that sounds like this PAA is actually up and above and behind you in case it sounds muddy at all. It doesn't matter for this demo. So harmonica through a vocal mic. Okay, so it's very normal sounding because that's normal. Okay, now let's plug in the EM-1 amp, and I've got it going through a noise gate. I'm going to go over here. I'm just going to show you the, I'll go down to the amp, and I'm going to go over here and shut down the gate and let you hear. Here's the microphone right here that I'll be using, same as the other mic, but I've got it going through a compressor gate. Does both of them over here, and I'll turn the gate down. Okay, so that's what it would get, all that feedback like this, if you don't have a gate on it. So why would you not have a gate on it? Maybe because you don't know about gates. Again, they just basically shut off the microphone until you start playing, but as soon as you let it, as soon as you quit putting signal through there, it shuts the mic off again. But while you're playing, it's on, and it will allow you to have all that distortion on the microphone. So I'm talking on the microphone, it's going through the EM-1 amp distorted. So now if I were to play right in front of the amplifier, but I'm using a gate because I'm smart, now you can get those cool sounds. Okay, so now if you're actually standing up and not directly in front of the speaker, then you can actually get those great sounds, and it will not even, while I'm using the gate and playing all the time, it's still trying to pick up the feedback because I'm so close to the amp. So most of you know about that. So get away from the amp a little bit, put a mic in front of it and blast with the PA, but you'll all of a sudden get that cool tone. So now I'm a little bit further away, what, 2 feet more away from the mic, or you can adjust your gate even harder so that it shuts off quicker. Okay, and you can adjust your release time and so forth. I've got reviews on gates and so forth, and there's tons of them here on YouTube to check them out. But this is the way to use these things. You don't just plug a mic in and go, because it's going to feed back. Okay, so there's all these modern conveniences. Modern, I say, since they've been out since the 60s. Gates. You just have to know how to use such things and know that they exist. Okay, again. Okay, so it's just got that cool sound. So, anybody looking for a good harmonica amp, and you don't want to spend a gazillion dollars on some little tube amp, again, you have the tube emulation thing going on here, the tube illusion, and it sounds great. You could fire up the tone any way you want. And again, for anybody out there having that problem that a couple people have written to me about, saying, my amp won't turn up, my new EM-1, can't get no volume out of it. Turn your tone knobs all the way up. Start from there. Okay? 100% guarantee you that's what's going on. So once again, Scott Grove, groovymusiclessons.com. Come learn how to play harmonica. I've got videos on those too. And check out the EM-1 amps for all your needs, for guitars, for whatever. I'll show you some other things. And just wanted to show you that it's cool for harmonica, but how do you get that sound? Okay, you use a distorted amp, or an overdriven amp actually, but being that you can get this amp for, what, barely over $100 compared to having to get an old Fender Champ for dang near $1,000 these days. And this thing's apparently indestructible from the videos I've just seen of them pushing it off top of a 8-foot ladder while somebody's playing, and they keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it, and it doesn't break, it doesn't shut off, blah blah blah. I'll put a link to that little video in here too, so you can click it and go see it. Pushed off a ladder, pushed off a stage, pushed off whatever while somebody's still playing. Good amps, kids. You just got to know how to run your gear. So once again, be groovy. Grab yourself a 4-force amp. Again, I don't get a single penny from them for this. I got a free amp at the beginning, but I'm going to keep talking about them. Why? Because I keep using them. So this has been recording great for that kind of sound. Again, for that distorted, raw, just bluesy sound. You can't beat this thing, and again, you can carry it in with your pinky, and you don't have to worry about going out and blowing up your vintage stuff all the time just so you can make a little harmonica sound cool. Okay, again, but use a gate. That's the key. If you don't have a gate, go get one. And the compressor gate, I'm just using a little what is that thing? I'm sure it's a Elisa's, I think it's a 36, yeah, it's a 3660 or 3620. I'll get it for sure for you. 3630. Okay, so Elisa's 3630, one of the cheapest but most useful compressor slash gates out there. So you can put nice compression on there, and as you can see, nothing is happening until there's nothing going on until I really start talking. So you can hear the gate. It's doing nothing here until I really feed it some hard stuff there. So it's meant to stop all that crap and only let through what needs to go through, and that's your playing. Everything else, there's no noise until I hit it hard, and then it shuts it off so quick because I have it set that way. So do your research or ask me, but use a gate, go through the EM-1, hell of a harmonica amplifier too. So anybody's got one already, try that, and if you don't have one already, get one, man. Great harp amp. Just wanted to point that out. Talk to you guys soon. Bye bye.